Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park here in beautiful Campbellville, Ontario for Friday night harness action, but a Friday night that's going to feel a lot different than other Friday nights, and that's because it has arrived. It's Breeders' Crown Year-End Championships 2025 edition as we kick off night one of two for the eliminations. Freshmen tonight. Tomorrow, the sophomores and older horses compete. A slew of eliminations required to be able to set up those rich finals coming up on the 24th and 25th, where we are very excited to once again be playing host to the year-end championships. It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown, as they say, and we have got loads of talent over the next couple of nights. It's going to be exciting to see how these finals are going to shape up because there's going to be some great horses that, unfortunately, don't qualify for the final. There's going to be some great racing coming up over the next couple of nights as well. 13 tonight, 13 tomorrow. In studio, ready to talk about it, the Hall of Famer Randy Waples and John Rallis. They've got lots to discuss, so I'm going to quickly roll through the changes so we can get down to the studio. Race 1 starts the first of 3 Pick 5 opportunities. The early one is guaranteed at $75,000. Number 8, Stonebridge Helios, will be going side rolls to Swedish blinds. And number 9, Roll'em, is a judges ineligible scratch. Take out the 9, Roll'em, judges ineligible. Over to the second race. It's our first elimination for the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trots. No changes in race number 2. We're all clear in the second. Race 3 to start the early pick 4. Number 2, Don't Mess with Molly. Switches from blinkers to side rolls. Blinkers to side rolls on the 2, Don't Mess with Molly. Number 10, Play Date. We've got a ownership change. So you can see there's a number company, Alberta Inc., along with Jeffrey Stewart and Douglas Dunbar, that are now the owners on number 10, Playdate, in race 3. Fourth race to start the pick 6, the second elimination for the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trotters. No changes. Race 5, number 8, Sorsha Sealster will go blind to blinkers. Blind to blinkers on 8, Sorsha Sealster, in race 5. This evening's 6th race to start the mid-pick 5 is the first elimination of the Breeders' Crown for the 2-year-old filly Trotters. Unfortunately, number 8, Days Away, forced to scratch due to sickness. Take out the 8, Days Away, scratch sick. 7th race, Breeders' Crown elimination. Number 1 for the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers. No changes here in the 7th. Race 8 is the Breeders' Crown elimination. Number 2 for the 2-year-old filly Trotters. No changes. Race 9, Breeders' Crown Elim number 2 for the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers. It's the start of tonight's late pick 5. There's no show wagering available. No changes in the race itself. 10th race, Breeders' Crown elimination. Lone one needed for the 2-year-old filly Pacers to start the late pick 4. No show wagering. Number 8, Perfect Thought's going to add a Murphy blind on the right. Also goes blind to blinkers. Murphy on the right added, blind to blinkers. On number 8, Perfect Thought in race 10. Race 11 on the card, number 10, Atlas Hanover, scratch sick. Take out 10, Atlas Hanover, sick. 12th race on the program, no changes. And 13th and final with the Jackpot High 5 available to play. Just over 9,700 in the carryover, no changes in the race itself. That's what we've got. It's the first night of the Breeders' Crown eliminations. The freshmen take center stage. Congratulations to everybody to get to this point, and good luck in your respective elimination. It should be some great racing coming your way in about 41 minutes' time. Let's head down to the studio. Here's the Friday edition of Woodbine Racing Live with Randy and John.
Campbell still the best, 19 in a row. Campbell down to the wire. Amity Chef wins the Simcoe Stakes.
He's big, he's strong, and he has got it going on. Cup 25, Canada's horse. Some reach somewhere.
Yeah, motivated on focus.
There, up and pacing.
This is the moment. Gotta one on my opponent.
McWicked on the outside.
Gotta get it on mindset. Gotta put it in motion.
You gotta be kidding me. TCI wins the million.
Game time that I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, and they can't keep up. The game's on the line. Seconds.
Lean back. Get your picture taken.
Crowning moment on Canadian soil for Bulldog Hanover.
Motivated on focus.
A late push from Confederate. It's my show. Wins the big show.
This is the moment.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to night one of Breeders' Crown Eliminations. We are going to have the rookies on display here this evening, the sophomores tomorrow, and I am pumped up about it. I know Chad's pumped up, I'm pumped up, and I know my co-host, the Hall of Famer Randy Waples, is super pumped up. You've been part of these nights many times in your career, Randy. I mean, whether you drive in them or whether you get to cover them, I'm sure for you it's a great thrill.
Yeah, it is, because you're getting all the best drivers, all the best trainers, and all the best horses all gathered into one little spot, you know what I mean, over the course of a weekend. So, I mean, it's just... It's really it's the weekend of all weekends if you're into the harness racing, you know. Just want to say one thing too with the production crew back there. Boy, do you ever look good with that yellow lighting back there.
Oh, I do really.
Yeah, you do. You're looking pretty sharp back there with that yellow lighting.
Need somebody
on.
to carry that around me all the time, then to kind of help
what
with
you
the,
need.
yeah, that's what I need. But tell you what though, Randy, I mean it's a long season, right? But for you, when you came to the driver's room or showed up at the track, even on a limbs night, I mean, what was the feeling?
I mean, it's just like the nervous energy, I would say I'd call it, you know what I mean? Like these guys, they've done it so often, you know what I mean? And you kind of get that once you get out onto the track, even though you got a little bit of nerves, once you get out there, there's so many things that are going through your mind, but in a kind of a still sort of a zen sort of a way, that everything, all the nervousness and that, it just kind of goes away. By the time you see the gate, you're just kind of back to just being a driver.
I just like the energy all throughout the paddock.
Oh, yeah.
On these nights, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, these top horses, top drivers, top trainers, they come here or vice versa, and the energy is so much different, right? I mean, everybody's competitive, but it's just a little bit more on these nights.
Everybody knows that it all comes down to the Breeders' Crown. This is the race that everybody, wants to compete in. And I mean, racetracks are so fortunate to handle this, this event, and we only get it like about every 4, maybe 5 years or something, so we really gotta, be thankful that it's here and support it. And I can't wait because, like I said, we get the best.
Yeah, and we're fortunate to be covering it as well this year. I know you and I are very fortunate. You got, did you cover it when it was here 4 years ago as well?
Yes.
You did. So yeah, you're going to get a second opportunity here to cover the Breeders' Crown. Again, I'm sure that you're looking forward to it. But speaking of which, I know we've got some horses that we're going to be highlighting all night long, as well as some of those eliminations. But we did have some Breeders' Crown eligibles who took part in qualifiers this morning, and some pretty notable names, Randy, as we kick things off earlier on. And we're going to start off here with the first qualifier number 3. And we're going to get a chance to see Emoticon Legacy. And he's 4th right now. You could see Louis behind 3 of them. But it's the way he finished up the end of this tightener.
Yeah, no, he's really good. Really good to go. Here we go. Really good to go. And I mean, this is the way Louis qualifies these horses, and I like the idea of that. I mean, any good horse can drop 5 seconds the first time, as soon as they see a starting gate. So if he can qualify them in 54, 55, that means that they're automatically ready to trot a mile in 49, 50, So, he's got them looking good.
It's the Luke Blay way. I mean, you see a lot of people maybe take it a little bit easy in qualifiers, especially ahead of a big event. Luke Blay, again, he'll go second slower with his trainees, and they're ready to go from a fitness standpoint. He's going to have them sharp.
Yeah, he keeps them so fit. Like he doesn't train them hard, but they don't miss any time. You know what I mean? Like put it to you this way, they're not lifting the stack in the gym, but they never miss a day at the gym. So they're always fit. He doesn't need to go fast with them.
And here's Elisa Hanover getting it done in her qualifier. There's 4 Breeders' Crown eligibles. I believe, did Emoji Hanover get in? I'd have to double check. I know the H trotting mares are going straight to the final, as well as the colts. So for her, I mean, at least the Hanover going 51 and change in that qualifying prep. I know Annie Stobie would have loved to get a race in ahead of the Breeders' Crown final. That's a really good tightener, though, as you gear up for the final, though, with that kind of a mile in. This is Apex Randy, obviously our Mohawk Million champion, and he put forth a pretty good showing, and he's going to be, a main contender going to next week's Breeders' Crown. He receives a bye because he did win the Peter Houghton at Hoosier.
He's a major contender to the point of I think that he's the best one in there. He's a really nice horse, and it looks like the Mohawk Million hasn't slowed him down any. He looks fantastic out there.
I think he's loving the time off, right? I mean, he had a pretty steady race schedule, right? Competed 4 consecutive weeks and was able to get a little bit of a break. Marcus got a chance to qualify him this morning, and he's going to be prepped and primed for that Breeders' Crown. But certainly the biggest standout out of a champion mare Mission Brief.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the time of year that horses love. They love being around in the fall time. They love the cool air, not too cold, certainly not hot. They love this time of air. Now, that being said, though, sometimes because the air's, kind of heavy and damp and that, sometimes they don't get through the air quite as fast, so we don't see as many track records. But as for horses going onto the track and loving, the experience of being out there, this is the perfect weather for them.
All right, and we're going to dig right into the action, Randy. We're going to kick things off race number 1, the early pick 5. That's the first of 3 pick 5s over the course of the next couple of nights. And no Breeders' Crown of Limbs to kick things off, but we're going to kick it off with a very competitive race, Randy. You could go several different directions here, and I think you can find value in so many horses here. I think this is a really, really wide open way to kick things off, and we're going to see the 2-1 current favorite is the 1 horse Wallace Hartley. That's going to be Doug's choice over another rival in this contest. That was a sharp victory, but again, Randy, I mean, who'd you go with in here? Because, I had a tough time with this race.
I had no tough time.
Really? Okay.
No tough time at all. So where did you end up landing?
I ended up going to Ethereum Party. I thought, I think this guy's been razor sharp, but I spread
You're
in
going to
this
get a
opening
price
leg.
too, though.
Yeah, solid price on a horse that I think is really, really sharp right now. But again, I spread in this opening leg because I could go several different ways.
I singled, and
Okay.
I'm going to stay with the 1 horse. And my, me, I always write my notes beside my horses. His was the best and plugs in.
Okay.
And so let's take a look at Wallace Hartley. And this is a slick little McNair drive, too. I mean, this is going to set this horse up fantastic. Dougie does this so often. He'll take a risk, and it seems to work for him. So let's roll with Wallace Hartley. And if I'm Chantel Mitchell, I am ecstatic with the way that he's bringing him in. Rail ride the whole way, never gets involved in any action, finds a seam, comes right across, shoots the curl, and here he is, fresh as can be with a clear path ahead of him. And like I said, not only do I look at him as being the best, I mean, look at how tight the lines are on this guy. Dougie's not asking at all, and the plugs are just glued into his ear. And look at McNair here. I mean, you want to talk about a horse that just destroyed the rest of them, and that's what I mean. That trip is going to really set him up, John. Sometimes, a horse, they need a lot of work coming into stake finals. Some horses don't, you know what I mean? And I think that the way that he tripped him out, this horse is going to be coming in there with just bounds of energy.
Yep, and I think we were shocked maybe to even see Doug sit in at that point, right? I mean, he had a really live horse. We both picked him on top. He goes off as the 1-5 choice, but again, you just got to drive your horses to the best of their ability. Again, we obviously sometimes are fixated on, 1-5 shots have to be driven a certain way. They've got to be on the front end because of the favorite. I think you always got to drive, and you know this best, drive them to the best of their ability. I think he could have done it any which way on that particular night, but never a worry in Doug's mind. He was able to find a seam, get out, turning for home, and as soon as he found clear racetrack, it was over.
Well, listen, you've played a lot of poker in your life, you know what I mean? You can't play all premium hands, right? You got to take a chance once in a while and play 10-2 or 7-2 offsuit or something like that. And that's, to me, what he does once in a while. He'll take a chance, stay to the inside, and then it usually works for him. And when it does, he's basically setting that horse up for 2 starts more that they're going to be incredibly sharp. And he only needs 1 because this is the final tonight.
Yep, and obviously, again, you could go several different ways. Rapasso, I thought, was, coming off a pretty good effort. He got a chance to follow Roll him. That's a pretty significant scratch, outside draw or not. We know he's the class of the field when he's at his best, but, I mean, why wouldn't, YYC on the horizon? I can't name a horse in here who really raced poorly in their, last couple of starts. And you got Stormbridge Helios. Dexter Dunn's going to be aboard. That's going to draw some, that's obviously going to turn some heads and maybe have people add them to their tickets. So, again, good on you for singling him, and that's a way to separate some value here because I had to spread, but if you get him across, you should feel comfortable in those coming legs. That's our thoughts on race number 1. We're going to kick things off here with some Breeders' Crown eliminations. The 2-year-old trotting colts are going to be the first division that we see, and we've got a field of 6 here. The morning line favorite is the 6-horse Mr. Big Spender. This guy has been super, super sharp for Norm Parker, and Mike Wilder's done a phenomenal job sitting behind this son of Captain Corey all season long. Look, he stepped up in Lexington last time out, and he raced huge. And he made a couple of moves. He was a part of some quick panels and was able to fend off live horses in a victory. If he gets things his own way here, he's going to be awfully tough to beat, I think. But I also think that there's some other horses coming into this limb pretty sharp. Just about all of them are.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You know, you can make a case for quite a few of them. How about the new Xeron horse?
Yep.
Imperative. I mean, could a horse look any better changing into first start for Xeron?
You go know what? It's a bit of a question mark, right? This is a huge step up from.
Big time.
I did not factor him in.
Right.
I mean, if
I
this
threw
guy,
him in on the bottom.
If this
only
guy gets
because
it done,
he looks so
yeah,
good.
If this guy gets it done tonight, I mean, you know, he's a horse. If he can step up and surprise, I mean, absolutely. But that was a good effort there on October 2nd, and he missed like almost a month coming into that start. So I know Ricky's really high on him. And but again, he's gonna really have to step up his game tonight.
No
for
doubt.
Sure.
Okay, so I will go with the one horse Kingman. What
Okay.
about you?
I went to Mr. Big Spender here in this
Mr.
spot.
Big Spender. I got him in for third. So let's take a look at the replay of Kingman. And this is not the qualifier, his last line there where he finishes second at the Meadowlands to Diabolic Hill. This is his last start here, which was the 2-year-old Open. You know, there was Land the Plane was in there. And I think there were some fillies in there too, maybe Storybook Love. But anyway, to me, again, writing my charting down, again, I wrote the best. I mean, look at the body language on Dougie here. And I mean, I honestly think that Doug is just, was just biting at his stifle, waiting for this horse to come back. Because I think that he gets along with him, and I think that he looks like he's a pretty nice little horse to drive. So Kingman is where I'm going to go in here.
And his efforts here, when we've gotten a chance to see him here locally a couple of times, obviously a narrow second to Strobe Light, who put forth a really good effort that night in what was a big mile. And then obviously in that victory in the 2-year-old Open, Doug looked off of Touched by an Angel, not just tonight, in one of those efforts as well to take Kingman. So you have to figure that he kind of knew potentially what he had, not only what he had, or the opportunity to drive him this particular weekend. So look, this son of Walner, he's raced really well in his rookie campaign, and a horse has been right there, and he's going to work out a pretty good trip with Doug in the bike as well.
I think so, yeah. I think that he can blast him if he wants to. He can move him on out of there and then, see where it goes from there. I like the fact, too, that Pear's bringing him in here with a little bit of a tightener under his belt. 56, not too much, not too little.
I'm Kronos is going to make start number 6 here. The son of Walner, trained by Oka Svanstead. Tough trip in that international stallion, division there in Lexington, but this guy's got some speed, Randy. He doesn't always snap off the car, all that quickly. I think he's still probably, developing in that regard. But he's got speed and he's got talent. And any time that the Oka Svanstead, they send out trotters in any race, they merit a lot of respect. And this guy could definitely put it together. And he was a big ticket purchase as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you can really see on his lines what you were talking about, like kind of the improvement as he's getting older. Like look at all of his last quarters, Johns. They're 27s and they're 28s, but then all of a sudden his last two, granted they were at Lexington, but still his last two, all of a sudden he finds another second and he gets down into the 26 and 4, 26 and 2. Now, maybe it is due to Lexington, but I'm looking at it more as along the fact that, I think this horse is starting to get better as the season is going along. I threw him in for second.
And I know some people say that, horses are Lexington lovers, right? We hear so many people saying, be wary of horses who race well at Lexington when they go to other racetracks. Well, it's all different for every horse, but this guy's raced in New Jersey already, and he's raced against the Ardons, the Apexes, and put forth good showing. So this is one who definitely merits a lot of respect in this group and is going to be a main contender in this elim. We're going to move on to race number 4. That's going to be the second elimination that we cover here, and that's going to be for the other division of the 2-year-old trotting colts. And I think this one is fairly deep in what we've seen from a talent standpoint, with a couple of rookies that really stand out. Endurance is the 6-5 favorite, and he went off as the overwhelming choice, Randy, in the Mohawk Million. I thought he probably, should have picked up, got the job done off the trip. You and I both agree he lost to a better colt, likely, especially on that night. But to me, it was a bit of a tiring second. Now, I did play against him in this spot, but I want your thoughts here. I mean, if you look at the way that Chris Beaver has managed him all season long, never really had him race consecutively or like week after week. He's usually given him a couple weeks off here, 3 weeks off there, a month off here. And he's responded really well. But that Kentucky Sire Stakes final, he gets the job done there comfortably. He comes back here 6 days later with a ship. The Colts never done that before. So I think that had a bit of an impact with him, and I'm still electing to play against him, but I would not be surprised if he put forth a good effort. What are your thoughts?
You're totally right on, John. I mean, he probably come out election. That was a big mile, 52, but last quarter in 26, I watched it that day. He chopped it all out. He probably came out of that September the 14th race, a little bit tired. And, you know, a lot of times these guys, they'll ship right after the race because it's cooler at night, you know, and sometimes it's easier for a horse to be on a van there when he's a little bit tired. He relaxes a little bit better instead of, you know, kind of being stressed out, you know. So I do think that that is a valid reason why, you know, he was second best, but maybe not just quite the edge that we normally see with Endurance. I threw him back in for second. He's had a bit of time off now. Beaver's going to be bringing him back up here again tonight. So I think that we're going to get a better idea. But to the same effect, he hasn't showed a line since September the 20th. And you know me, buddy. I mean, if somebody has the better line or has a better date, I have a tendency to go that way.
And there's one horse in particular that we do see a charted line, not a pari-mutuel start, but it's a qualifying effort, and that's the 5-horse Diabolic Hill. And that's going to be my top pick in this spot. That's going to be your top pick, and you know, and for yourself as well. How good was that qualifying prep?
Oh, unreal. Really nice qualifying prep. So take a look at him. And because I'll tell you something, John, this horse raced a huge mile in the Mohawk Million. Draws the 9-hole, gets away at the back of the pack, never sees the rail, 3 wide around the last turn, and still manages a back half in 54 seconds, back quarter, and 26-3, all at a price of 100 to 1.
You know what? The outside draw didn't really help him. The efforts coming into the Mohawk Million. Look, I got a chance to watch his career debut, and obviously just he's got wicked speed. He can really trot for a piece, like really trot, and we're going to see that in that qualifying prep. But you know, obviously just a young horse that needed to deal with some horses and wanted to go a little bit too fast for his own good at times. I remember you know, Andrew McCarthy said he's a little bit naughty sometimes because just wants to kind of go out there and do stuff and wants to do it right away. But you know, they've got to mature and obviously learn to kind of ration out that speed. But he looks pretty mature out there to me, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. They, you know, usually when they get a little bit older, they will start to kind of, you know, in most cases, start to settle down. Look at Chad upstairs.
Yep.
I mean, he's a perfect example of that, you know. I mean, he's got out of his wild ways. This guy's amazing. And, I mean, what really turned me on about him, John, was when he beat Ardon down on the New Jersey Sire Stakes, July the 25th. He had the 10-hole, made a huge move out of there, and it's the way that he went by the rest of them. He went by them with authority.
Yep.
He wasn't being tip-tapped or anything. He went by them powered up, and he wanted to beat them. Then he went through a little bit of a lull, and I think that Annie's done a great job. She raced him in the Mohawk Million. He has a good fourth. Then she gives him a little bit of time, and now he's got that qualifier, you know, under his belt there that we can see. We just showed it to you. It was a good one, not too fast, not too slow. 56 will put him right where they need to be, and he's going to be my top pick.
He draws well. I mean, you have to figure he's going to get away in a pretty good spot. And I mean, even a horse, I mean, his speed could definitely bail him out in this position. But he's really, I think, has gotten progressively better. And again, those couple of starts, though, again, as a viewer, I was a little bit concerned of him coming into the Mohawk Million because we know how sharp the colt is. But that, like you said, that Mohawk Million effort, I mean, that to me was just as impressive as anybody else's performance in that race.
You know, the other thing, too, you know, you can kind of look at it as a little bit of a side story here. We got a little bit of a brother thing going on here, too, you know. So Diabolic Hill, who's going to be driven by Todd McCarthy tonight and has been driven by Todd his last 2 starts. But who's driving him before that? Andrew McCarthy. And Andrew decided he's going to go with Endurance down in Lexington, and that's the way it maps up. So trust me, brother-wise, I got a feeling there's a little bit of rivalry here. You know, there's no way that Andrew wants to give up the best horse. So I got a feeling that these brothers are going to go out there and, you know, rage a little bit of brotherly war, too.
I know we only focused on those 2 colts, but Nick Snacken is coming into this race sharp. This son of Muscle Hill has raced really well, and it could be worse. I mean, he's been racing against the likes of Endurance so far this year, and handy horse, another son of Captain Corey, and again, they've just been so impressive. Yeah,
they have, and really good bunch out there. And another one, too, that I think that I got him in for third. I think that this is going to be a really nice test for the 3-horse Land the Plane.
Sure is, and that was a nice effort in a narrow defeat last time out. We're going to move on to race number 6. That's going to kick off the mid-pick 5. We're going to look at 2-year-old trotting fillies here. We're going to be scratched down to a field of 8. Days Away is going to be out of this elimination, and we're going to focus on, a lot of people are going to be focusing on the horses lining up from post 3 and post 4. Set your sights high. The 8-5 morning line favorite. She's had a wicked good, 2-year-old campaign, doing the bulk of her racing between Lexington as well as Ohio. And We speak about the sires, though, Randy, that have impressed us here in Ontario. Again, we get to see our first crop of cattle wash in Ontario, the Bulldogs and the limited crop. In range has been remarkable. And the impact he's had in Ohio is pretty strong. And so far, she's been the richest one by in range.
Yeah, I mean, I think before wasn't like it was Dover Dan the Ohio one, or was he the Indiana one? Seemed like there was a lot of Dover Dan.
I want to say Indiana would be Dover Dan.
Right. Okay. So this one, kind of a new one to me too, in range, but obviously racing very, very good. 9 starts, 7 times a winner. But I'm going to throw this guy in for second. I'm going to go Tetrick. With Jim Oscarson. Actually was watching this one win his last start at Lexington there and just got the job done. But I thought overall it was a really, really good kind of an effort, So I'm going to go with Southwind Chaska, Timmy Tetrick, hopefully looking for that nice, easy kind of trip. And maybe he'll get it right in behind Set Your Sights High.
That's exactly what he's given him, given this filly, I should say, all season long. I mean, he's driven her really, really well. These two have gotten along, and we've seen that from Jim Oscarson. He'll qualify a horse, maybe sit behind them for a start or two, and hand the lines over to also a catch driver. I mean, he sits behind them himself, but he handed the lines over to Timmy in one of those starts in New Jersey, and instant success. And they've continued that so far this year in a rookie campaign that's been a really, really strong. 6 wins and 8 tries, hasn't missed the board. She's going to be really tough, especially if she works out a pretty good trip. But these are the two that I think are going to get the most looks to kick off the mid, pick 5. We're going to move on to race number 7, and that's going to be the elimination here for the 2-year-old Pacing Colts. And to me, this is the best wagering elimination of the weekend. I think that Brandon Boulevard is the horse that really stands out here, especially off his victory in the International Stallion division at Lexington. Never saw a set of pylons. Was able to get the job done over Frantic Hanover, who we're going to mention in a couple races. But I think you could find value throughout here. And you and I both going to go price shopping here. And let's start off with your top pick.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a tough. This is going to be a tough ask for Windor. I mean, the replay that I chose to show, John. Like, I mean, he hasn't done a whole lot of Grand Circuit racing, but he's done a little bit. With the Nassagway and the Champlain. So I elected to show the victory in the Champlain. And the biggest reason was for those people out there that know some of the 2-year-olds that are racing around right here. Bojangles could potentially be the best 2-year-old on the face of the planet right now. 2-year-old Pacing Colt. I know that you got a big thing for Lua Deepa. No insult, John.
No.
Could potentially be the best 2-year-old Pacing Colt on the planet right now. And yet this guy is able to race against him week in and week out and compete hard against him. And he's not going to see, like you said to me a couple of nights ago, he's not going to see Bojangles this time. And now he's not. So let's take a look at Windor. And it's not just the fact that he's able to get the job done, it's how he does it, So here we go. Dougie McNair first over with this Mike Vanderkamp trainee. And every time that this guy has come to the race, John, he's always given us a good showing, a good run for it. So here he comes, and this is Till the Cows Come Home up on front. Sweet Love and Lou in the 2-hole. Horses that, we're going to see later on in here tonight. And here comes this little Bulldog Hanover first up, and he just keeps grinding away and grinding away. We can see him do it in front. We can see him doing it out of a hole, and we just watched him do it the hard way there with a first over win in a Grand Circuit race. So he is more than capable of racing against Grand Circuit Colts. He picks up a middle of the gate draw, and he gets one of my most favorite drivers to go to, Dougie McNair.
It was hard for me to leave him off the ticket. Truthfully, I mean, this was a wide open race for me. You're going to be the only one using him. You're going to use him on top, but nobody else has used him. But to your point again, not only does the horse going to feel the confidence about not having to line up against Bojangles, but Doug's going to know that too. I mean, this is a really, really nice Pacing Colt, and he's never put forth a bad effort. He's had a lot of unlucky trips this year, Randy, and if he can get a clean trip, he's going to be a main factor. But I like Fragment in this spot. Again, you're going price shopping. I'm going to go price shopping here too. I think the son of Huntsville, he's been sharp all season long, and we saw him here in the Metro. And in the final, he drew post 9, never got a chance to get involved. Tell you what, though, he was doing some pacing late in the mile. He was really, really live. He followed that up with a couple of sharp victories at Vernon Downs, and he's got a better draw to work with. He's coming off 2 dominant scores. if this guy can work out a pretty good trip and be within striking distance late in the mile, he's going to be heard from in a big way.
I think it's going to be a lot of leading power in this race
Big time.
tonight. The thing with Windor too is you got to remember, right? He goes into the super final missing time from a vet scratch sick and basically misses a month going, and then he has that qualifier, which to me, month off, only the one qualifier, not a huge one, only mile 55. It had to leave him a little bit short for the super final, and he still comes up with a crackerjack effort, finishing second in there, multiple moves, and who does he finish second to? Bojangles, arguably the best 2-year-old on the planet. So now, because he's had that qualifier, now that he's had that race in the super final, I think he's coming into this race jacked. And so Windor, I think we got a chance to maybe make some money here.
And you know who else
Randy
is coming?
does anyway, because you're going somewhere else.
You know who else is coming into this race sharp? The pair of Burke trainees as well, Melillo and Al Papi, coming off some really, really sharp efforts. But again, Brandon Boulevard, I would have to think is going to go off as the race favorite, but he's had a really nice rookie season for Andrew Harris. So we're looking forward to that race. Again, a really strong wagering race, I think, in terms of all the eliminations. I think the strongest one this evening. We're going to go to the next elimination in race number 8. We're going to look at 2-year-old trotting fillies here, a field of 10. Nezuko Kamado is going to try, is going to ship over from some tries in New York here to Ontario, and she's going to be installed as the morning line favorite. Look, she's raced around big tracks already. She's gotten the job done, going some pretty quick panels, and this is a sharp filly. This is a really sharp daughter of Chapter 7, and Marcus Melander and company, they've done excellent with some Chapter 7s, and when she added the trotting hopples, Randy, on September 6th, I know she made a miscue, but she's been able to stay at it consistently, and this filly merits a lot of respect here in this spot, but again, you and I both going to look to try and beat her.
Yeah, I like her, but my only problem with her, John, is that, last time she had the 2-hole at Vernon there, she left out of there pretty good, but she doesn't really show a ton of gate speed. It usually looks like it's a loop back to the front. And with the rail here in here tonight, I'm not really sure where she's going to get away. So I'm going to throw her in for 4th. Now, one thing that she really has going for her, though, is this guy driving her. A lot of people look at Scotty Zeron as an American driver. Well, he is. There's no doubt about that. But he was like one of the leading drivers here before he went down there. So he knows this track very, very well. And if there's one guy that could, jump in and get this one in a good spot from the rail, I'm sure that it can be Scotty Zeron. So let's take a look at the replay of my top pick, and that's going to be Bingo Night. She fooled me, John. She fooled me, Jerry. Anyway, had the 10-hole, went off at 6-1. Small bit of a changes sent in by Dustin Jones, but let's face it, he had her on her toes. And boy, oh boy, Tyler Jones, he come to play that night. He put her in an absolutely perfect spot. And look at the way that she gets away from the rest of them. I mean, nobody is going to be any kind of an issue to her whatsoever. And this is from the 10-hole with a huge move out of there. My only advice, Tyler, when you do happen to win this race, just kind of throw the whip away. Don't even bother swishing that thing around there. But anyway, raced fantastic in the super final. Again, she's got a middle of the gate. I think that he can get her out of there and more or less get himself the same kind of trip that he got into the super final. And if he does, this little girl can dance.
Again, it was tough for me to leave off multiple horses in this race off my ticket, but she's got a middle of the gate draw. She's going to take advantage of that draw without a doubt. Biggest thing for us, though, Randy, is the bridle change. I mean, we got a chance to see it. It did have an impact. We also got a chance to see her score down on track, and she was sharp. And he jolted her out of there from post number 10, and she put forth a really, really good try. But
so where did you go?
I went to Nereus. We saw her get the job done.
That's
here.
who I got in for second.
This daughter of Domenico Cecere, she's raced really, really well in limited tries. We heard Domenico talk about how he's doing things a little bit differently. He's going to bring them on a little bit later and hope that they can kind of stay sharp and get as much as they can while doing so. And look, so far the rookies that he's sent out this year, Randy, they certainly have raced really well. So the approach that Domenico's taking is working quite well so far, but he's just great at what he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of an interesting way to look at it. You know what I mean? How can you really go wrong? You know, don't have them ready quite as early and extend their 2-year-old season a little bit. I think it's a good move.
And Jailbird Jog, one that I'm excited to see here as well. She's been a sharp tactical landing filly there. James McDonald's going to be aboard, but a really nice elimination race as well in race number 8. We're going to move on to race number 9, and we were pumping up this showdown, Randy.
Where'd you go?
Before the final, I went to the local hopeful. The perfect,
the local hopeful.
Mr. Perfect 10 for 10, Bojangles, the son of Cattle Wash again. We speak about what this guy has done as a sire here provincially, and he's got the, arguably the top pacing filly, rookie pacing filly. And he's, got the top rookie pacing colt, not only here in Ontario, but it looks like right now in North America. But we got to see this head-to-head matchup in the Metro Pace Final. Advantage Bojangles, and we're going to get to see these two colts hook up yet again. And look, this is start number 11 for this Doc Moore trainee, right? Doc talked about wondering if they were actually going to enter him in this spot. Selfishly, I think we're happy that we get to see him.
Yeah.
But those starts are definitely creeping up there. But I don't think his wins have been taxing whatsoever.
Not in the least.
Yeah.
Probably his first win in 50 flat was the toughest one. Since then, it's more or less, I'm not going to call it a cakewalk, but I'm not going to say that it's been taxing on him either. So let's take a look at the replay of Bojangles. Remember, there's not going to be any show wagering in this race number 9. And, John, I mean, is it just me or when you say the word Bojangles or somebody says the word Bojangles to you, do you not get a smile on your face? Because we don't often get to see horses like this. This is generational. This is one you're going to remember for a very, very long time. And look at this driving rainstorm. With this guy, and just kind of try to trust me, no one's even going to be close to him. Just fixate on Bojangles, the way he carries himself, the ears up, the ears back, it's just all like a big, look at the ears going on him. It's all like a big joke to this horse, you know what I mean? It's got to be like more or less Michael Jordan playing high school basketball. It's just got to be a joke, you know what I mean? And that's what I see with him, and he's a sweep, and, fingers crossed, I want to see this horse, keep doing what he's doing.
And I asked Bobby after that super final victory, did that middle half maybe kind of, put him to sleep a little bit? And he said, no, he just waits on them like good horses do, right? And you saw it numerous times when they get up alongside him, just the way Frantic did as well. Frantic never had a chance to really look him in the eye because as soon as, Bo obviously felt that horse coming to him, he took off again. You could even see it after the wire as Timmy's charge inches closer, takes off again. This is a really, really quality horse. And again, the way his evolution has taken place there as a rookie campaign, it's incredible. I mean, you heard Doc talk about it, a part of his third set. I mean, we've seen horses kind of start off in the third set and become really good ones, but this was quite the leap for this guy.
Well, so far, we got a horse that's got the size, the athleticism, the speed, and the gait of Some Beach Somewhere. And that's a big, big shoes to fill with this guy. But he brings so much more to the plate too, and that's the smarts that he brings. And that part of him, his game reminds me of another great horse that was out there, and his name was Cam Fella. And boy, you want to talk about a horse that most of the times only did what he had to do, but yet he would always get there first, was Cam Fella. And I just find this guy is a very, very intelligent, and then you bring in the athleticism too. Wow, we're looking at something special here.
We really are, and again, we're looking forward to that head-to-head matchup. You Brood, again, a Ron Burke trainee, another one here that I'm interested to see here in race in Ontario as well, out of the great Warrawee U Butte. This guy's raced really well. This is a son of Tall Dark Stranger, and this guy's got a lot of talent and speed to go with it as well. But we're going to go from one rookie pacing star, and we're going to get to see another rookie pacing star in the following race, the final elimination of the night, and that's going to be for the 2-year-old pacing fillies. Morning line favorite's going to be the 6-horse at 2-5 Lua Deepa, and for me, Randy, I mean, she's just got incredible gears, and she's shown it from even her qualifying tries.
She's amazing, just absolutely amazing. I mean, I watched her race down at the Meadows. That last win at the Meadows was the first time that I seen her race. Missed the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania final, but then she came up here, and I watched her both times, and right after the first one, John, I said she's just too deep for the rest of them. And she is. And then she goes down to Lexington and just annihilates them even worse. 48 last quarter and 25-4, and not even really, pushing it. Unbelievable. So let's take a look at the replay, and let's look at the replay. You can see what she did in Lexington. Let's look at September the 20th, and that's the final of the She's a Great Lady, John. And this is another incredibly great performance because we know she can race in front. This time she elects to do it, more or less from off the pace. But now here she is out in the middle of the track where she seems to like to be. It's funny. I notice a couple of times where she'll move out into the middle of the track, but when she moves out to the middle of the track, then she stays in a perfect line.
Exactly.
I think it's just kind of a little bit of a quirk. Again, look at the ears on this one. You want to talk about a horse that's doing something that is very, very easy to them? Boom, right there, Luadipa.
Must be incredible to be able to sit behind a horse
It
where you
is.
could just do just about anything you want with them, because even Ronnie Wren mentioned it. He said, I can do just about anything I want with this filly, and she's got gears that, some of these other, not only fillies, but horses just don't show early on in their career. And, she's been really impressive. Another Sweet Lou, another homebred by Burke that has given them some pretty nice thrills, and I look forward to watching her as she continues her career.
What about the Burke stable at 4,400 starts this year and 900 wins?
Incredible,
John?
yeah.
That's a career for other people.
And it's incredible. It really is incredible. We're going to move on to race number 11. That's going to wrap up our preview of those limbs tonight, at least. But we're going to go to race number 11. We've got a few overnights to close out this 13-race Friday night program, and got pop-up series consolation here, a field of 9. We're scratched out of a field of 10, and I think some horses into this console, I think they're coming into this race sharp, and they draw pretty well as well.
Where'd you go?
I went to the Control Heaven.
Nice.
I liked his effort last time out.
Yeah, and it's going to be, second start Lasix too, eh?
And he missed a bit of time in that start, but...
Malik Smith's barn really starting to come back around full circle, eh? I went He's Touring. Okay. I went with the 8 horse in here. I find that last start to be quite interesting, to tell you the truth. New face to our circuit as well, was doing some of his racing. It looks like some of it was down in the East Coast, and Louis Eftimiadis had him for a few starts. And now Carl Dawson is going to be taking over the training duties with He's Touring. This is He's watching out of Grand Tour. At one time, was this horse not a Horner horse?
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, let's take a look at He's Touring, picking up James McDonald tonight. James drove him in his last start, as John was telling you. This is the pop-up series consolation, so Rollum is a winner in here, and we both pretty well like Rollum tonight, but he's going to be scratched. Not going to be here, but here comes James, had the 7-hole, made a big move out of there with the and landed into the 3-hole, and it's just not, here he is right here, just not anywhere place for him to go. Now here he starts to come on the outside. Dougie does an absolute headstand, but here comes James on the outside, and like I said, he only just asked him a couple of times. Every time that he asked him, he moved forward, and then he kind of more or less knew that he was only going to be third no matter what he did, and went pretty easy on him the last 32nd of a mile, let's call it, in the words of Steve Condren. And He's Touring, going to be my top pick in here.
Sharp effort, and you have to figure that he's going to be even sharper coming into tonight, and he's got the gate speed to overcome an outside draw. That's our last look of what we're going to get previewing this Friday night program, and we previewed some of those Breeders' Crown eliminations, all of them, tonight, and we're going to get a chance to do a quick little preview of what we're going to see tomorrow night before we divulge a little bit deeper on tomorrow night's program. So we'll get a chance to see those Breeders' Crown eliminations here tomorrow night, and we're going to start off in race number 3. We've got 3 old trotting fillies. We've got a field of 9 in the morning line favorites, Delaney Hanover. She's coming off back-to-back victories, and those consecutive wins have been razor sharp, and nobody's coming in sharper to this limb than this Lucas Wallen trainee.
Yeah, she's looking really, really good in there. Mona Lishi coming in here as the Sire Stakes champion for Blake McIntosh. This is a really, really nice field, and also you got Lasting Dream in there too for the determination. I kind of thought maybe James would go back to Zalpa, but he didn't. Elected to go a different route.
We're going to look at race number 4. This is going to be the 3-year-old Pacing Colts, the first division here. Field of 8, Prince Hal Hanover, going to be installed as the morning line favorite. Madden Oaks is going to be getting a driver change. Louis Waugh is going to pick up the controls on this son of Huntsville, and we know the talent and the speed is there. Not the easiest horse to drive, though, so I'm really curious to see how Louis is going to get along with this guy tomorrow night.
Do they still have phone books in Toronto?
I believe so.
Do you? Why don't you bring a couple of phone books? Because the size of Madden Oaks, Louis is going to need it to see around him there. The size of Louis compared to him, he's huge, I like that nice group in there. I think that you got to take a real good look at Sip and See around.
Yeah, race number 6 going to preview the 3-year-old trotting fillies. Yo Tilly has been ultra sharp here for trainer Andrew Harris. So she's coming off a second-place effort in the Bluegrass. We haven't seen her in a few weeks, but they're going to gear up for these next couple of weekends, Randy, and she's definitely the one to beat. Some intriguing players, though, here, too, right? Our Duchess, she just never draws well.
No.
3 consecutive 9 holes.
Yeah.
And, outside draw for her, but she can overcome it. She's got the gate speed. But I'm excited to see What a Bit Hanover tomorrow. Filly that I thought was going to be the best in the division coming into this year. She's, had a bit of hiccups, but she's coming off a sharp effort in her latest. The other 3-year-old Pacing Colt elimination here is going to be a field of 9, and all eyes are going to be on the horse highlighted in yellow, Blueprint.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and he deserves it, I mean, obviously the horse to beat in the Glamour Boys division this year, but unfortunately you were talking 9 holes too, crack shot, getting the 9 hole. I was really hoping that maybe he might get a middle of the gate, and if this is one of those starts where Ronnie Wren decides to come out of there hard with Blueprint, maybe Dougie's going to be able to draft on his back. But knowing Dougie, I wouldn't be surprised to see him, bomb him out of the 9 hole too, so who knows.
Race 8, we're going to look at the open trotters here, a field of 10. Morning line favorite's going to be Lexus Cody. He's coming off a qualifying try and will without a doubt be the one to beat, and he's the sharpest trotter in this division overall.
He is, no doubt about that. Boy, talk about a horse that's absolutely loving the back half of his season.
Race number 9, we're going to preview the 3-year-old Pacing Fillies, and we're going to get a chance to see Mickey and Minnie and Chantilly compete yet again. But 8 of the 10 here get into the final here, Randy. So curious to see how some of these trip scenarios are going to work out.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You can't do too much, right? You know, but at least you got to work a week to work on it anyway, though.
Race number 10 is going to be the first of 2 open pace eliminations.
Irvin
Hanover and Nijinsky, all eyes are going to be on those 2, and Louis Watt opting to go to Nijinsky in this spot. Can't fault him off that mile, but a tough decision.
I'm sure that it's an incredibly tough decision, but I think Nijinsky's back to flying again.
In race number 11, the other open pace division, field of 10 here in this spot. Ken Hanover, the morning line favorite, second choice, I should say, 2-1. He's coming off a sharp effort. And Maximus Mickey, we saw him get it done in the Canadian Pacing Derby.
Yeah, Scotty Z back in town.
All right, there's our preview on the Breeders' Crown eliminations divisions. Randy, and again, we're excited about the next couple of nights, and we're going to be even more excited next weekend, right, for the finals. But I'm just curious to see how tonight goes and how some of these elims shake out before we kind of, figure out what we're going to do next week as well.
That's the whole thing, how are they going to adjust, and go from there. But boy, oh boy, John, we are spoiled over the next, couple of weekends. We are spoiled. There's a
lot to cover. Obviously, on this pre-show, we never got a chance to preview some Pick 5 tickets, so you'll get a chance to see them on the bottom corner of the screen when we kick off the card, but they're going to be coming out shortly here as we get set for race number 1, the first of 13 tonight, 7 of them being Breeders' Crown eliminations. Randy and I will be with you all night long, and we hope you enjoy the action.